everybody, it's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. Here I am traveling. I'm in Kansas City right now, right across the street from a Whole Foods market, and I was just checking my computer and checking some of the questions I've been getting. And I got a question from somebody who says their 14-year-old daughter went on a raw food diet and they're not doing too well. They lost the sensation in their fingers, or at least the fingers are tingling, and there's pain all over their body. They've been doing this raw food diet now for about 6 months. What could the problem be? And why would their daughter be experiencing a problem if they're eating raw foods? Well, everybody, raw foods are not a panacea. Even if you're doing everything the correct way and the best way, that doesn't ensure the best health. You have to look at where a person is coming from and what they've already been through before you start looking at where they're going. So we always have to look at where is a person starting out from to determine what is best for them to do. However, a common mistake, and as this person wrote me later on in the email, was that their daughter eats a lot of fruit, or mostly fruit is exactly the way they put it. And I could tell you this is a common mistake in a raw food world today, because many people get into a raw food diet. They think they can just go and eat any type of raw foods, and raw foods are going to do everything. Well, I said it all along, when I used to eat a vegetarian diet, there's a big difference between eating a healthy vegetarian diet and sitting and eating noodles all day. Or when it comes to a raw food diet, there's a big difference between eating a healthy raw food diet or just stuffing dried fruit in your mouth all day. There's a big difference. And fruit is a great food, one of the best foods on the planet. But if you're not eating a balanced diet and getting the nutrients you require for your own personal situation, it doesn't matter what you want to call your diet, you're not doing the thing that's best for you. And what's going to result in that is this suffering. You know, this is why people suffer from illnesses and diseases and health challenges, even though they're eating raw foods. Raw foods isn't so much the problem as much as what we're doing with it. You see, I know white table sugar is bad and cigarettes are bad, but no one ever died from having a tablespoon of white table sugar or a cigarette. They died from abusing it and doing way too much. Now, in no way am I condoning smoking cigarettes or white table sugar. But what I am saying, the same abuse that's happening with those things is often happening with raw foods. Yes, just because something is good, it does mean it's better for you, but that doesn't give you an excuse to go ahead and abuse it. And it's often a common mistake to people to think, well, now I'm eating fruit and it's just filled with natural sugars. It's not table processed sugar, so it's okay to eat much as I want. No, you need to give your body a good variety of the different types of nutrients out there. And if you're limiting yourself to one type of food or one source, such as fruits, you can get a tremendous amount of variety of nutrients with fruits. But to live on it exclusively, especially in today's world and today's environment, I think somebody's asking for trouble if they do this. And this isn't the first time I got an email like this. But rest assured, you don't have to worry too much. You just have to start making some changes and incorporating back into your diet some leafy green vegetables. If you don't like the taste of the leafy green vegetables, you could do the green smoothies. Those will help. What I recommend people that don't like the taste of fruits and vegetables, I tell them to go on green smoothies, and that will help them get the greens in their diet. Supplementation is also another good thing. But if you've created an issue from eating too much of something, whether it's too much fat or too much fruit or too much of anything, the answer is to slow down and eliminate what caused the problem. So if you are having issues because you've been either limiting your intake of nutrients, that means you have a deficiency. And if you're overeating on something, that means you're doing too much of it. What really helps when you're doing too much of something is a fast or a break from food. Maybe doing a vegetable juice fast. And if you need to throw a fruit in there to sweeten it up, that's great. But not a big cup of fruit juice with one vegetable in there. That's not the answer, not what I'm talking about. And if you're doing enough, too much of something, then fasting just in general would be a good idea, but you want to make sure it's supervised. Folks, please go to rawlifehealthshow.com and you can see the interviews I do there every Monday with featured guests who have been teaching people how to eat a healthy diet and do it the right way when it comes to raw food. And the average age of these people is like 45 years. I have some that are doing it even more and some that are less. But these people have seen it and they know what happens and they know what works. I base what I do on my own personal feelings and situations and experiences, just like you should. but we also need to have some good guidelines. Some people that have been successful so we can learn from their successes, and some people that have been failures so we can learn from their mistakes. And I'd much rather learn from somebody else's mistakes than my own. But we can also not neglect the spiritual aspects of these things. I am telling you, I've seen people up against the wall when it comes to their health challenges. They've done just about everything that they think they know they can do, except prayed about it and be in consistent prayer. Disease is a very humbling thing, folks, if you let it be. But, running to the doctors, I don't think that's the answer. Taking some drugs or even some herbs to deal with your pain is not always the answer. Finding out what caused the problem is and eliminating, that's the answer. So I wanted to address today the common problem of why the raw food diet doesn't work for some people. And, like they say, there's no incurable disease, there's only incurable people. Well, the raw food diet is wonderful, but when people abuse it, you're going to end up with a problem. I met one fellow who, he went on nothing but fruit, exclusively fruit, for almost a year. And he woke up one morning, he couldn't move his legs. So there's a lot to think about here, folks. It's not a panacea to think you're going to eat a raw food diet and all of a sudden get better from something like cancer. Now, if you have cancer, I would recommend the raw food diet, but I would recommend other things as well. And if you do have any comments or questions, post them below the video, and I'm here to help you. I do consultations and refer you out to people that do consultations as well. But please, folks, understand the raw food diet is wonderful and it can work for you. But you have to do it the right way, and you got to get away from this nonsense of oh, I could eat all fruit and nothing else. It's raw, it's okay. Or oh, I can go and I could eat raw chocolate all day long just because it's raw, it's okay. No. There's room for fruit, there's room for chocolate, there's room for all of these things in our diet. We can get away with a lot. Somebody once said to me they found it amazing that somebody could eat a raw food diet and can get better from something like cancer. And I often say I find it amazing that somebody could eat McDonald's as long as they eat it and not get cancer. So the body's built amazing and can deal with a lot. And you can get away with things for a certain amount of time. But just because you're getting away from it doesn't mean it's getting away. But just because you're getting away with it doesn't mean it's ideal for you. So we want to make sure we're doing the right things, and there are people out there to help us, and those are the people I try to have on the Real Life Health Show. So I hope you've been blessed by those videos and those people. And if you're out there and you're on a raw food diet and you're eating only fruit and you feel like you're doing amazing and doing great, I tell everyone, if you're eating a fruit-based diet, or even if you're eating McDonald's, if you feel there's no reason to change, then don't do anything. But if you feel you could be doing better, well, look at doing better. All right, everybody, this is Paul Neeson with the Real Life Health Show saying thank you. And I'm in Kansas City tonight. I'm about to head to Columbus, Ohio. I'm speaking there tomorrow and the rest of this weekend. If you're in that area, come on out and say hello. The information's on my website, paulneeson.com, and also rawlifehealthshow.com. You just go on to events and you can see that information. Until then, everybody, have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.